Built by the science guy. Built by the science guy. Built by the science guy.
Science rules.
Built by the science guy.
Inertia is a property of matter.
Built by the science guy.
T minus 7 seconds.
Built by the science guy. Built by the science guy.
Inertia.
Built by the science guy. Built by the science guy.
Welcome back to another Brews by the Magic Guy show. Sorry you don't like it, Nemos. How's it going? We're just waiting on one more guy to St. Draft. And then we're going to jam. We don't have much time today. Obviously it's a holiday as well, so we got that going for us. You've seen 50 streams that have music intro? That's impressive. Did you know it costs money to get one of those, unless you produce your own? That is just impressive. I can't say that I've watched 50 streams. I mean, maybe 50 Magic streams, but I don't even think I follow 50 streamers. Nemos. I find that hard to believe. I feel like you're just throwing numbers out there. I feel like you're not actually accurately depicting how many streams that you've watched that have intro music, and then of those streams, I'm just trolling you. I'm just trolling you back, my friend. I hope you realize I'm trolling you back. You work from home, that's right. All right, I'm gonna challenge you, Nemos. I want you to get me a better intro music. I want you to get me a better one, and I'll use it on stream. That one cost me, I think, $30, maybe $40. If you can get me one for free, I would be in your debt. So go do the internet thing. Go find me better intro music, and I will use it instead. Because your opinion does matter to me. I know I'm trolling you back because I feel like you're trolling me, but I like taking constructive criticism and using it to improve my stream. So if you have legitimate, if you have something I can legitimately use, awesome. If not, I'm gonna keep using it because I think it's actually fine personally. It's a remix of the original Bill Nye the Science Guy theme song. Also, it doesn't get banned in my YouTube videos. Don't feed the trolls pie. Don't pay the toll. Alright, so we're gonna get... I know this is gonna tilt some, but the deck builder... So we're gonna show you what Bear with Two Guns gave me, and I'm gonna show you what I did with Bear's list. And since we don't have that much time today, we're probably gonna go straight to playing. But check this out. Oh, he's right here. So Bear wanted to get ready for the new Spirit Lord. There's been a lot of talk of this, of course. Supreme Phantom. 2 mana, 1/3 Spirit. Other spirits you control get +1/+1. You missed the intro. Oh, the intro music I use for when we boot up the stream part trap, the little 5-minute remix of the Bill Nye the Science Guy. I can show you. Nemos doesn't like it, and that's okay. Not everybody's gonna like it. I can show you real quick. I also have a non-music version, by the way, Nemos. Back when I didn't care if my YouTube content was muted, I also have one that doesn't have the music. So this is the one that doesn't have the music. You can full screen that, and we can use this, and I can put any music to it that I want. But this was the remix version today that I used. Paul's Pretzel. So the remix version that I used today, Part Trap, was this one. And it's a remix of the Bill Nye the Science Guy song, or theme song. Give it a second to load. It crashed. We crashed it. I don't know. This one. I mean, honestly, the $30 or $40-ish covered both the animation and the song. So, I mean, most of the $40 was this cool, the 5 colors of mana animation stream starting soon thing. So.
T-7 seconds.
It's cool. And sometimes I use the one that doesn't have any music at all to it, which is nice, because I can put music to it, or we don't have to have music. It's just the animation. Nice. Yeah, it's the little things. See? Then there's this version. See? Useful. All right, back to the magic. So Bear submitted this list. Let me show you real quick, chat. Bill. The Bill command. So this is what Bear submitted, and he's just trying to get ready for the new Spirit Lord. I like this idea. I've thought about splashing black instead of green. So what do you get out of green? The big thing that you get out of green is you get Noble Hierarch, Give or Take Birds of Paradise, Gavany Township. These are all really powerful things, but you don't really get much out of the sideboard from green, right? So what does black give us? Things like Thoughtseize, Brutality, Lingering Souls. This allows the Spirits deck to go a little bit wider. Obviously, the thing about Bant, I forgot to name the big cards, Collected Company, excuse me. So Noble Hierarch and Collected Company, those are the big pieces that you get from green. What does black have to offer? Black has to offer things like Thoughtseize, Brutality. You could play, instead of just a bunch of paths, you could even consider playing Fatal Push. But also you get some nice sideboard out of black. I tweaked the list pretty reasonably. Collected Company. Yeah, thank you, doggy. So cool things that you get out of black, though, that the original builder didn't test, that I would like to test, is you get cool cards like... Well, you don't get that much more out of black, is it? It's pretty much just the big draws, Lingering Souls, Thoughtseize. He was playing Negates instead of Countersquall. Countersquall is more greedy on the mana, but we're an aggressive deck, so I like this in kind of a tempo-style deck. And then I decided to mainboard the Worship, and I added Vault of the Archangel. This is another nice addition for being in black. Albeit it's 5 essentially lands to tap this. And he also snuck in a Moorland Haunt, so there's a little bit of greed going on here, obviously. Also 2 Caverns. We maybe should cut 1 Cavern to add this greed. And then add another colored mana source. I think that Marsh Flats is really important to the deck because we need to not take so much damage on our Thoughtseize in lots of matchups. Let's add 1 more Marsh Flats, call it a deck. Parchip says, that was great. I feel like Bot needs a Bill command that does theme song stuff in the chat. I like the Glacial Fortress because the late game of the deck is primarily white and black. I also added Eidolon of Rhetorics. I didn't see that in his list. And I added a little bit of fun spice, Essence Flux, Topplegeist. A little bit of fun. A mainboard Steel, mainboard the Worship. I added a 3rd Geist, but I have purposely grabbed a different art version because I want to see how often that we accidentally get clunked onto Geists and how often it's the added Geist. So in your personal testing at home, when you're testing a new card, a proxy version of it or an alternate art version of it can actually help you in your testing. You're like, oh, I drew the one that I added to the deck. Or you can put like a piece of paper in the sleeve. There's lots of things you can do. On Moto, the easiest way to do it is just get a different art card. So now we'll know, we've essentially marked this particular Geist. We know when it's the extra Geist. And I know you're like, well, yeah, there's a Steel of the Godhead. Of course there is. I added an extra Geist and I added a Steel. The problem is I can't actually test the card that Steve, or Bear with 2 Guns, wants me to test because it's not out yet. Supreme Phantom, it's not out yet. So we're going to jump in and we're going to play. I actually think this deck's competitive enough to play in the 1v1 queue. Even though Bear isn't a subscriber, we're not going to be playing many decks today, and I did budget some points and ticks for today. Part of the reason is because it's a holiday. Thank you guys for coming. Although, apparently, one of my buddies who's a history buff was like, actually, 4th of July was not the Day of Independence. I was like, are you sure? I thought that was what the history book said. Oh, J-Bone Capone's looking for an opponent. That's funny. Oh, he got somebody, though. Hey, let's leave. Let's do a 1v1. I saw J-Bone in there. I was like, oh, man, J-Bone's testing some Modern. If you guys don't know J-Bone Capone, he's an older streamer, but he is hilarious. He's good people. I've gotten to talk to him personally on and off stream. And, yeah, we've swapped some good stories, and we've also exchanged some streaming tech. And he knows computers better than I do, so I actually really enjoy him as a resource. Troll or no troll, I've been watching you for years. Thanks, you Nemos. I know, I appreciate that. I figured, I've seen you in chat before, so I actually didn't think that was a troll. I think that you were legitimately telling me that you didn't like the intro music, and I'll take that. I'll take that to the bank. Maybe I won't do the music version of it for a little while, and we'll just do the musicless version, and maybe I'll play... It's for Pirates Speak. What's up, D20 Bandito? So let's just pull up the deck list while I wait for an opponent. This is the only deck we're going to play today. I do have something going on at 6 p.m., so it's 4 p.m. now. So, I mean, maybe we'll squeeze in another deck off the deck queue. The next deck in the list is Yohobo Joe's. What was Yohobo Joe's? Oh, that's right. It was the time... This one needs a lot of sideboard fixing. It doesn't actually have a sideboard, so yes, it does need some sideboard fixing. But it looks like it's a black splash variant of the Taking Turns archetype. Cool. I wonder why these Taking Turns lists don't run the storage lands. I feel like that makes sense in those decks. You know what I mean when I say the storage lands, the ones you can tap and put charge counters on it, and then it will eventually generate more mana. But yeah, we're playing the Delirium Spirit. I think this is fun. Not good, but fun. I'm playing an Essence Flux because people aren't going to play around this because like, nobody plays something like Esper Spirits. This will be fun. We'll like blink our Rattle Chains and then put it back in off the vial. Topplegeist, of course, we can blink in and tap their Hollowed One, and then next turn if we have Delirium, we continue to tap their Hollowed One. So that'll be fun. But yeah, the build-around cards in this deck are definitely Drogskull, Captain, Lingering Souls, Geist, and Queller. These are all cornerstones of the deck. I am worried because the deck does not have turn 1 ramp potential. In Esper, it just doesn't exist. Maybe we could go full-blown jank and play like Simian Spirit Guide. You know, these guys have all have colorless mana costs in them. But no, you would rather have a Noble Hierarch. Noble Hierarch is important for Geist of Saint Trap because it allows them to get in. I am a little bit worried about the Geist of Saint Trap getting in. Besides like the Steel, or we could play like an Elspeth or something in the sideboard to make sure this gets in. I like that tech. A lot of people don't like that tech, but that's classic tech for Geist of Saint Trap. That's been around a long time. So if you're looking for a particular walker, I know we have Lingering Souls and stuff and ways to go wide and like Moorland Haunts and yada yada. But a way to get the Geist in might be something like Elspeth Knight Errant. So this is a possibility for the sideboard. You like the worship? Yeah. How's it going, Goblin Guy? Yeah, how's it going, dudes? 4th of July hype. I'm wearing a Stars and Stripes bow tie. Whether or not this actually is my nation's Independence Day, whatever. I'll leave that to the history buffs to worry about. But yeah, an Elspeth could be something that we do. Maybe instead of the random extra affinity hate piece. I like Kataki, though. I like Kataki. I'm not a huge fan of Stony because since the Aether Vials are so very important to this deck's speed, because without it we don't have ramp, no Noble Hierarch, I'd rather not run Stonies. I'd rather rely on, like, Zealous Persecution can wreck Affinity too. Like, I'd rather rely, like, I'd rather not run Stony. I'd rather double up on Kataki and run like an Elspeth, to be honest. That's probably what I would personally do. Just because I think Stony Silence is perfectly reasonable in normal Bant spirits because they're not necessarily reliant on the actually we can do different set symbols so we know when we draw the extra Kataki as well. But anyway, so those little factors might lean me towards more of a sideboard like that, a more mid-range sideboard. Now, of course, Sorin makes sense with this kind of a deck. Sorin might be another Planeswalker you could consider. Obviously, we're not in the colors to play Tamio. A lot of Bant Spirits players like Tamio. But Elspeth is nice synergy for Geist, making sure that the Geist can break through difficult boards. Happy 4th, Brew. You excited about the ban list? I am, doggy. Tomorrow we're going to be playing Legacy. We're going to be playing Tinfins and some viewer-submitted decks. I started reading Next Level Magic because I need to be so much better than I am. Oh, the Patrick Chapin Next Level? Nice. These are some more additional changes I might make to this sideboard. Alright, we got our opponent. We got our match. Guess we keep this. There's no Aether Vial, though. I feel like this Esper version will always want to look for Aether Vial. I am going to keep this, though. We have turn 1 Mausoleum without taking damage, but then we wouldn't have black mana. But black is our splash. Elves. Noble Hierarch. Bird's Paradise. Arbor Elf. Birds. Okay. I'm excited I can get in with Lackey. Yeah, no turn 1 Deathrite anymore. Turn 1 Mother of Runes is going to be more common now. Alright, so we just drew the extra Geist. So this is the third added Geist. I think I just shock and play the Wanderer. I know I don't have a single black card in my hand, but I think I'm just going to go Wanderer. Wanderer gotta wander. And that's just the big distinction why I think a lot of players haven't explored this color combination of spirits. It really just has to do with the fact that you're just much slower than Bant, and you miss out on Collected Company. But I think Esper has some cool tools. I like Esper, like Vault. There's some cool tools in this color combination that shouldn't be ignored. Oops. Is it the worst deck? Probably. That's okay though. You're allowed to play a worse deck. Ooh, Nissa. Nissa, Voice of Zendikar. Making some plants. Alright, let's see what we can do. Path. Okay. So we attack the Nissa, Voice of Zendikar. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think Legacy's going to be a lot healthier now. Thanks, by the way, guys, for all the recent support. I actually have run out of chests. Also, we have new emotes, by the way. I'll show you guys those in chat. So we have the classic BrewSpy bowtie. Oh god. We have BrewSpy Toast and Risk It Now are all live on Twitch. New emotes hype today. They just cleared yesterday. Red mana for what? Red mana for what? Arbor Elf. Okay. Making some plants. Okay. D20 says, I really like the editing on the podcast. Jay is a master. D20, Jay is a master of his craft. Showed it to my dungeon master. Excellent. Oh no, the late Vial. So do we miss out on the opportunity to deploy Vial to play like a Geist or a Captain? The benefit of playing Captain, of course, is we get to pressure the Nissa a little bit better this turn. But then, if we don't draw land, we're not deploying the Vial later. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to play Vial. Yeah, this is not good. Might have been correct for me to path the Arbor Elf. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We might just be getting like tooth and nailed, boys. Maybe their hand is nothing, or something that's not very good against us, and then we path the bird and we attack the Nissa. Dead. Ah, we're dead. Maybe I'm even supposed to Wanderer there. Behemoth. Well, that works. Yep. Oh, opponent miscalculated unless they have land drop. Yeah, I don't count. I counted 7, not 8, but they might have they might have land drop this turn, or like a Simian Spirit Guide or something. Well, it's awesome that you like the podcast, D20 Bandito. Word of mouth is great, and if you can go on the internet and drop a review or whatnot, it really helps my Dungeons and Dragons team. Is the deck you're facing common? Never seen it before. Seems strong. It's just big green. Tooth and nail, I imagine. I feel like if opponent couldn't cast the Behemoth, that's a weird thing to tutor for. Bonfire for 2. It's cute. Probably not worth tapping him out here. Yeah, I should have held that for sure. He miscalculated, actually. Alright, I take 2. Pathing the Arbor Elf is probably correct. It's going to cut him off a lot of mana. And we want to have our mana available to us. I know Pathing the Arbor Elf now technically only cuts him off of 1 mana overall, right? Because he still gets the land here. No, it cuts him off of 2, because he untaps Sprawl for an additional. But I wanted to have this mana available to deploy a Captain or a Geist. So we did draw the land after all, unfortunately. We probably want to go... We probably want to lead on Geist. I think that's where I want to start. Probably lead on Geist to St. Draft. But you just see how this Esper Spirits struggles without... I hope Bear shows up because I wanted him to see that this deck is certainly cool, but it's going to struggle games it doesn't have Vial. This Vial just seems really, really important. Opponent also has to pay for Pact this turn, so we have a little bit of time to set up shop on this board. But yeah, it's not common, but we are playing in a more competitive setting than the practice room. The queues. How much more competitive are the queues, though? Slightly. Like I said, it's like tourney practice room, queues, and then of course friendly. Friendly sometimes is less competitive than the 1v1 queues, and then of course the competitive leagues more so. So make a dude, make an assessment. Oh, no attacks. So we have activations of Vault. We could activate to get back a Wanderer. If we play Drogskull, Geist still can't attack, and we are blown up by another Bonfire, but I think that's the play. We could wait, though. We could wait and literally just make a dude. We could also spend the Geist to get the Nissa off of the table. I mean, what block does he have if we play Captain and swing Geist? It would be, we get to kill the bird and we get to kill a plant. Nissa goes away. Is that how we want to spend our Geist to St. Draft? I don't think so. I think what I'm supposed to do is just play Captain and hope that he doesn't have Sweeper. Yeah, I think we play Captain, hope he doesn't have Sweeper. I think I should have played the Captain first, actually. I forgot this guy has flying, too. Just get Wanderer. He might be playing Hoof. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He needs 2 more mana this turn to do Crater Hoof. Garrick. Okay. I mean, next turn my plan was pump up the jams on the team with the Drogskull Captain instant speed during our combat phase. Activate Vault with the Archangel. This is one of my additions to Bear's list, was the Vault. I mean, it doesn't look good, to be honest with you, chat. Looks like we might be screwed, but Bonfire decks, I imagine, would give us some troubles. Looks like it is an X spell, so I think we are getting Bonfired, unfortunately. Looks to be an X spell, so we might need to go ahead and go forward. Yep, we lose. That's okay. Because that's going to kill both, since the Geist is going to lose the Anthem. So no, we're just not fast enough to play against something like that, unfortunately. And that's okay. That's okay. Brutality seems great here. We got the cutesy Flux as well. We don't necessarily even need steel. I think worship is a little greedy. I mean, I like steel. What are we bringing in? We're bringing in engineered explosives and settles. Alright, let's run it back. Maybe even counter squall. Hang on. Let's play counter squall as well over... Maybe steel is kind of cute here. Also, Queller doesn't hit all the things that we need to. I think it's less of a grind. Actually, we don't need... Well, no, Selfless Spirits would have really saved us from those sweepers. He's not going to have a lot of spot removal. Rattle Chains isn't that important, actually. I mean, Rattle Chains is nice. Don't get me wrong. It's certainly fun. I think it's unnecessary here. Alright, let's beat him this time. Games 2 and 3, we can do it. We kind of had a mediocre draw. Alright, so this is one of the guys that was intended for the deck. We did pick up mismatches on purpose today. So we have Zealous Persecution. It doesn't mean I have to take the Dork. Don't have to take it. Opponent's hand is awful if we take the bird, but we could just Persecution the bird. We could just take the Nissa. This hand is like nothing. Plus, I don't have a turn 2 play, so I think just trading 1-for-1 with a very precious, precious mana source, opponent will probably never get to these things. And we'll win, hopefully, with these two by then. So turn 1 Thoughtseize, turn 2 Persecute this, just so he is cut on mana. I didn't need a shock there, I could have gotten a basic. So Persecute. We could Persecute during his upkeep, by the way, I don't have to do it here. I think we slam Geist. I think the sequencing is Geist, then Souls, then Captain. In my opinion, get Wander, in case he has ways to play Hooves. Right, that was last turn, Drake, right? 4. Oh, that's unfortunate. Wish I had that Squall. I don't like going Captain here. I like just going Lingering Souls. But yeah, I think overall the Esper deck will be really, really bad anytime it doesn't see Vial. And, you know, there's other decks in Modern that are like that. You know, like the Mono White Weenie Taxus styles decks. Their draws are significantly lower power if there's no Vial. Bant Spirits having both Aether Vial and Noble Hierarch, you know, similar to like the human decks. It's really important to be able to... and maybe it's correct for me to trade Geist with the Beast and take out the... Well, we wouldn't trade... Okay, so if you played Captain, you could trade Geist for the Beast, and the Angel token would kill the Garrick. Gave a plug on my Twitter for the podcast. Thank you so much, D20 Bandito. I appreciate you. Yeah, Jay works really, really hard on... He's our editor. He works very hard on editing that podcast, so I'm kind of lucky. Well, I'm focusing on other content, of course, and focusing on my engineering. Like, I don't have to worry about editing the podcast that we do. We do it every other Wednesday. We record. So, am I dead? We can get the queen out there. I think we are. That's okay. No Thoughtseize draw, or we spent our Thoughtseize kind of aggressively. Like, Nissa wasn't the problem, really. Him top decking the Garrick, and now him getting to some of these threats is the problem. But, like, that's the thing about Bant Spirits, is you do have to commit to the board. Like, we can't just sit on the counter scroll forever. Like, we'll lose to this eventually. Yeah, the top deck Bird was clutch, and the top deck Garrick was clutch for our opponent. So, happens. Thoughtseize is only as good as the as the clock you can put on your opponent. It's a disruption element. It's not perfect. Prime time. Okay, so he was able to get to 6. He wasn't able to get to the queen. The prime time is going to turn on the rest of his mana. So basically this means even if I take out the Garrick, opponent still is going to have plenty of mana to work with between Nykthos and Bird and everything. So I think we are losing this, but that's okay. No, Mono Green Devotion Drake has been around for a bit. Not many people play it, but it is a fine deck. So opponent opponent went and grabbed a way for him to have red mana for the Keswick should the bird go away. I like a lot of the plays my opponent's made. So if we don't Drog Skull, there's just no hope, right? Because Drog Skull would let me take out the Garrick. But I mean, like the next plays my opponent are making, they're not going to be counterable with the counter skull. They're going to be creature threats. So we get to kill the Garrick with our hexproof tokens. We don't attack with Geist. Surprise exhaustion for the win, right? And we know we're relatively safe at least for one turn. Opponent does need to pay for the pact. The reverse Green Sun Zenith, right? The reverse Green Sun. But by and large, we don't have Path for Titan here. I think there's just... It's going to be very hard to steal this game. I think we would need exactly, like, Settle the Wreckage off the top. I think we need exactly Settle the Wreckage off the top of our deck. Oh no, I know about Mono Green Devotion. Deck didn't look like that last time. Oh yeah, last game it didn't look like it. I had a feeling he was doing some of this stuff, though. No beast attack. Okay. Wish I had said like a Hymn to Turok. Right? We only have 3 card types, so it wouldn't work. I mean, our hand has a lot of souls, but it's just not going to get there. We're going to die to the Behemoth next turn, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Nykthos is starting to net mana. No, it doesn't. It's mana neutral still. You need 4 green mana symbols before this generates mana. Queller's irrelevant. So we probably just flashback souls. And, oh, we don't have enough black sources to do both this and this, so. Deck building, right? Oh, we're just dead. We are just dead. We can serve him a healthy amount here. I mean, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Obviously he'll block Geist, so it's only going to be 11. I mean, we serve our opponent a healthy amount of damage here. But, it's just not enough. So without the help of Aether Vial, I think I'm going to go ahead and... I don't like to like do ultimatums when it comes to decks, but my ultimatum is no. It's just... There's no... Even with the new Spirit Lord, I think it's just too important when you play these 3-drop heavy decks to just have what you need. We'll swing out, just so you guys can see that we actually did have a decent amount of damage. But we are dead to the Behemoth. And I was also greedy in how I spent the Zealots. I could have waited. We also could have taken a little bit less damage on our lands. And I think... What did we fetch with Flooded? Basic Island? I think if we'd fetched another Black Source, we wouldn't have had the issue we just ran into this last turn. Where we couldn't hold up the Squall and flash back the Souls. We can't next turn go Souls. We needed to rip... we had outs, we needed to rip Settle the Wreckage. Their deck has a hard time with that. That's okay. Get oofed. I feel like I'm playing Legacy right now, right? It's a popular finisher for elves. Decides to go with Hornet Queen instead. So you're saying there's a chance. We could draw Settle the Wreckage now. So I'll go to 1. Settle the Wreckage? Aw. Opponent had to win. I don't understand why they didn't just do it. We'll scoop here after they make some correct blocks. I wonder how deep it was, because that was a really nice out. Alright, so we'll grab these two, we'll test them. Those are like the last cards I think could possibly work. Because I think that Aether Vial is way too important to this archetype. We can cut some of the cute cards that I wanted to play. Run some more sound spells. I actually think the Persecution could be main decked right now. With where the meta is and the fact that we're a Lingering Souls deck. That might be neat tech. I did decide to main deck the Worship. So you come up with 2 more cards for the list. You guys have any ideas? Esper Spirits. Esper Charm, no. Maybe just more synergy for Lingering Souls would be nice. Or more synergy for Geist of St. Traff would be nice. We were having a hard time getting it in. It's really hard to get this card in the current modern meta. It's just really hard without something like Steel. We might actually just want to play more Steels. I think Steel is more main deckable than Elspeth. We were just having a hard time getting our Geist in the red zone. So more of this kind of stuff, more of this kind of stuff might enable us to actually connect with the Geist of St. Traff. Kataki number 2. So 2 Eidolon of Rhetoric, 2 Kataki. I wish there was like a black spirit that we could play that I'm just not aware of. I bet one exists, I'm just not thinking hard enough. Like a spirit that Bant Spirits would consider playing, but they don't because it's black. So let's look into Black Spirit. Thanks for the auto host, Evan. And we want it to be CMC 3 or less, although we're not restricted to the same deck building restrictions as Company. Case in point. Will-o'-the-Wisp. I want something like tech, like sideboard tech. Modern legal, please. Like, I feel like I want like a reason. I mean, I'm thinking like Obsidat, but that's not really quite what we should be doing. What's the black legend that gives a... Ooh, Tommy Goyf. You're a genius. That would let us cut maybe the extra Watery Grave. Shizo. You're a genius. Plume Surgeon. Doesn't have to be mono black spirits. It could be black and something else. We should look at these two. Oh, Teysa has combos with spirits. We've played her before with Painter Servant. Cut Purse. Cut Purse is good value. 2/2 spirit, whenever we deal damage to a player, they discard and we draw. Stuff like this might be sweet. Infiltrator is a spirit that we wouldn't mind putting into play. Suture Priest is fun. There's some cool spirits out there. Classic Ghost Council. The extra mana is so good on Obsidat, though it's worth paying the extra. What about Metallic Mimic? as another lord for the deck. It's not a bad idea. Seems grindy. It's a classic right there. I'm just curious if there's any spirits in particular that we would maybe be interested in. But like none of this seems like sideboard card to me, although this is better in a grind for sure. I mean, these are really grindy actually. Against like, well, they're so small though. Yeah, some number of Metallic Mimic might just be totally correct for the deck. And that would be like a placeholder for, because he wanted us to test this guy. Phantoms. We could just use Metallic Mimics as a placeholder, right? I don't know how much synergy Metallic Mimic has for specifically Lingering Souls, though. Like, I'd like to find another card that synergizes with Souls. Like, I'd like a second Steel, or maybe even before we add a second Steel, we just play the land that you were suggesting. Spirit Lord. Yeah, that's already in the list, Treebeard. That was in the list he submitted. Supreme Phantom. We could use Metallic Mimic as a placeholder. It does work on the tokens, right? Metallic Mimic does work on the tokens. Choose a creature type. Each other creature you control of the chosen type enters the battlefield with an additional... Yeah, these are spirits. They'll enter the battlefield with... We could use these as a placeholder. Because he wanted to play 4 of them. Yeah, Shizu. Good suggestion, Tommy Goif. That'll make the Geist quite a bit less awkward. Giving it fear is not irrelevant. I like that technology. And we can just sideboard the Worship and the Steel, or the extra Thoughtseize. It's nice having built-in ways for the Geist to connect. I also don't know if I love this main board Spirit, Selfless Spirit. It's fine. But I might be more interested in just the main decked Steel. It's a lot of 3-drops though. I mean, this is part of our mana base, to be fair, but... So these would be sideboard. The counter scroll was awkward. If we run it at all, it should just be a fun of, if nothing. Maybe we don't need the extra Kataki. Kind of like the idea of an extra Kataki though, because we've trimmed. And then we can just mainboard the Persecution instead of like a Worship. I mean, I kind of like, in theory, a mainboard Worship, because there's some matchups you can just steal because of it, but it's minimal. I just don't really like Stony Silence in a deck like this that's so reliant on the Vial. Off topic, could Mastermind Acquisition be similar power level as Glittering Wish? I don't know, I think. Selfless Spirit's good main, though. It's so good. What about a 1-1 split? Maybe Steel still is kind of cute. So you just like mainboarding these? You made a good point. Alright, let me grab the cards we're missing and we'll run it back. So we want a Shizu. Death's Storehouse. They're super cheap. Elspeth. Yeah, that's fair, Treebeard. I don't think you are mistaken. And that's it, right? Metallic Mimic. Just as a placeholder, this of course is going to be upgraded to the other. Once it comes out, it will become the other. But, you know, Bear with Two Guns wanted us to test this card. This is probably the closest interpretation. He wanted me to test this card. We can't test this until M19 drops. I think he was hoping that I would do his deck when M19 dropped, but I'm just trying to work my way down the queue. So this'll do a fine. They'll do a fine interpretation of what the card is intended to do for the deck. Honestly, I think a split might be correct. On what? On what? Wait, mainboarding the Worship? Oh, you mean a split of the new Lord of Mimic and the other? Well, Mimic being artifact and creature, anytime you have a card in Modern that's multiple types, it can be more vulnerable due to that fact. Because like if they bring in Hate for Vile, it also hits Mimic. So you think a split is correct? So you're saying cut a Selfless and run maybe this or this or this main? These all could be main. Like, seriously, there are plenty of matchups you just get your opponent because of Worship. So, there are a few matchups that we just get to win due to this card. I've seen plenty of people main deck Worship anytime you have Hexproof threats. It's pretty stupid. You mean Selfless and Steel? Steel is sweet. So you actually think this would be sweet? I do love me some Steel. There are other creatures that can wear the Steel. Obviously, you're risking it if you put it on a Queller. You're risking it if you put it on Drogskull. It depends on the matchup. Obviously, the best attachment is Geist. We are playing an additional Geist. I on purpose got a promo Geist so we can know when it's the additional Geist. So let's play another, shall we? And let's run it back. We'll get there this time. Now we're actually running what, you know, Bear with Two Guns more or less was intending. 2 mana Lords. Obviously, they don't work here. I mean, they're not as strong as the new card that's coming out, obviously, but these are being activated here. I did cut 1 Cavern from his list because I thought it was a little greed. Though I added some more greed. And this is even more greed, but I like it. I don't even know if we need this fountain. Well, no, our primary colors are blue-white, so I think 2 of our main shock is totally reasonable. Let's run it back. If you want to get your deck brewed on the Brews by the Magic Guy show, please put it in the spreadsheet, ! Deck Intel. We're gathering intel from all corners of the globe on different types of Magic decks, and you don't have to just submit Modern. Obviously, it takes me playing Legacy or Pauper or Vintage to have people that are interested in those formats to join the stream and hear about the fact that they can get their decks brewed live on my show. Vault is way more greedy. Yes, it is, Flux, but I love it. Sheezer's less greedy. I think, well, Haunt's less greedy because it's less mana to activate. I really like Archangel anytime you're considering playing a grindy Souls deck. And I wanted to test things that Bant Spirits don't get to play. Obviously, they don't get to play around with this. They don't get to play around with this. This is a great suggestion from our dear friend Tommy Goif. They don't get to play around with Persecution or Brutalities. You know, some of these cards I wanted to stretch and test because they're not cards that you would be allowed to test, obviously, in Bant Spirits. Some of them. But, yes, Vault is tremendously greedy. Alright, good luck, have fun. I mean, this hand's okay. Nothing special, no Aether Vial. So obviously this deck is going to be worlds worse than, you know, Bant Spirits when we don't have an Aether Vial draw. But, Burn, Goblins, Affinity, 8-whack. It's 8-whack, yep. Kudaltha, 8-whack, actually. Hopefully this Thoughtseize picks him apart. We're not going to get these Spell Quellers off in time against our opponent, obviously. Never mind. Something new. Something interesting. So spells he can't cast. Spell he can only cast if he finds... Did he top? He did top. Okay, so I assume what he topped is going to let him cast the artifact. I'm not that scared of plating. I'm more afraid of Ensoul. So we're going to take the Ensoul. He probably topped Blue Source. If you're topping a card, if you're using your scry to top a card, there is a good chance it's a Blue Source for the Ensoul. Yes, it was. Yeah, Shrapnel Blast Affinity. Alright, there's the plating. He's not left with a ton. We might actually get the Queller off on the Chief. And if he doesn't have a lot of removal, we could put the Steel on the Queller. So unfortunately, I can't actually Selfless Spirit here. but one of our best draws in the deck. The first Aether Vial. Second Aether Vial might be awkward, but the first Aether Vial is pretty huge for us. Lets me next turn sit on Queller. He's just moving plating. Being able to sit on Queller, even if we don't get to quell something, just trading with the Signal Pest would be really nice, or even blocking and killing this Memnite. Our opponent's draw was a little bit anemic. What's up, Scarlet Spud? We did your list the other day, by the way. I hope you noticed. Yes. Yeah, so we're going to sit on this. We also have a Mausoleum Wanderer that we could trade with the Signal Pest. Oh no, it gets +1/+1, so if we sequence this right, we actually get to just... Nice. Or block and kill. This will be sweet. Kick it back. And I think we are going to put the steel on the Queller. Obviously, if opponent has a Gal Blast or Shrapnel Blast, you know, obviously that's no bueno for us. Now, since this is a Lord, if he has drawn land, he'll want to play the Chief. We spell quell most anything my opponent plays. So he wants to ensoul the Signal Pest. We can't counter this, obviously, with this. I just wanted this to grow when I Queller, because I may block with Wanderer. So we're going to go ahead and nab this Ensoul. The Legacy one asks, but we haven't done it yet. We are going to be playing Legacy Thursday, by the way, Scarlet Spud. It's when the new Ban and Restricted is going to be updated. Actually, we would block differently because of the Battle Cry. If he swung both, we would actually block like so. Do you guys just like sitting on Queller for another turn, or do we like slapping the steel on the Queller? So we have Vial for Spirit. I kind of just like sitting on the Queller. I don't think we're in a rush. I would play Wanderer, I think. Or no, if I play Wanderer, I don't have Queller. Yeah, I think it's either you do Steel onto this Queller, or you do... I mean, like, that's a reasonable play. This is a reasonable play. I'm going to sit on the Queller, though, because we got some life points we can work with. Just going to attack with this Queller. Flux says he's not willing to trade, sit on Queller. This is Galvanic Blast. Now we also could have just vialed in Spirit and traded this Wanderer. That is another play I had available to me. Jamming, huh? I think I just trade Wanderer with Pest. I want to hold Spirit. Spirit will protect me if I want to go greed mode and put steel on something. See, just look how different this deck is with an Aether Vial draw. That's really just the biggest knock to playing an Esper variant of Spirits instead of Bant. There are some neat things about it. We are going up on this. But, you know. See, now I feel pretty comfortable slapping steel on something. Even more so now. Wanderer, go fetch basic. Plains. Put steel on the Queller that has the Soul on it. See, this is another fine wearer of the steel. Worship. We have some nice tools for this particular matchup, don't we? Explosives. Maybe even settles, but that might be a bit much. Wanderer is weak. Rattle Chains is weak. Opponent doesn't have a ton of removal. Didn't have a ton of non-creature spells. Not that I just want to be a pile of 3-drops against a deck that's pretty low to the ground. I'm just saying these are weaker. These are just relatively weak in the matchup, that's all. Doesn't mean you just, you know, do that. But you know, you got to realize that these aren't really that strong in the matchup. Alright, Legacy deck I submitted as a brew, or as a real brew, not gonna lie. Transmute Artifact. That sounds sweet, Scarlet Spud. Maybe some Goblin Welder action. Did you know that Transmute Artifact is actually Entomb for it's a really cool card. So it's basically blue Entomb for Goblin Welder, or it's Tutor Artifact. Mimic's so awkward with Kataki though. Yeah it is. Yeah it is. But Kataki's strong in the matchup, so we won't be playing Mimics next week, Tommy Goif. We'll play 1 Rattles. Oh yeah, we're terribly hand heavy. Like, we have to draw some of our 1s and our 2-drops to get to that late game. Well, it's an Aether draw. We should probably keep this. And we just have to hope to top deck the goods. Hopefully opponent's budget and is not playing Mox. Well, technically top decking the goods. I was hoping for sideboard cards though. We did bring in quite a few. Tried to break it using a Bomberman shell. Oh, interesting. Plating. Okay. Sheep Maeve. Last time I played a deck like my opponent's, it was actually playing Salvage Titan. Not just last stream. It was a while back. We were playing a Salvage Titan list. That's unfortunate. I think I am just going to play this out because we could draw a different 2-drop to Violin. It's possible. Yeah, this does a poor interpretation of what the new card will do for Spirits. It's just a placeholder for the Supreme Phantoms. Does not do the same thing. Will you revisit the deck after the new Lord comes out? Maybe Captive. Maybe not immediately because we have a lot of other decks in the queue that I have to get through. Need to get through. Plating, quick plating. That's not good for us. It's not good for our health. Up goes the vial. And we drew a Kataki. Even though it would suck for us, but alright. Thoughtseize just to see what's going on over there. Probably not worth, right? We should just sit on the Queller, I think. Unfortunately, even with the additional help from the Mimic, the Queller is not going to be beefy enough. Probably, yep, move plating to Memnite. So we could trade Queller with Thopter. And then we're only going to 9. This still gets Gal Blasted, of course. See if opponent has. Could be their last card. I think I'm supposed to take out the plating because, like, Mimic could block the Memnite. Okay, he's got Gal Blast. Yep. That's unfortunate. Shrapnel Blast, actually. He's going to crack this Memnite. So these deal a little bit less damage because he cracked an artifact, but we're still taking oodles of damage here, going down to 6. It's been going well, Yama Killer. How are you doing? Short stream today. Okay, so we get to Thoughtseize. No card left for us anymore. This can always be bad when we're on the draw against Affinity. Probably supposed to play Lingering Souls, actually. Lingering Souls was a huge draw for us. We get to pair it with the Captain. These get +1/+1 counters thanks to the Mimic. Nice. Kick it back. We have a shot now. We have a shot. And that's all we needed, chat. Let's attack with the Mimic. That's all we needed was a chance. Just don't top tech. Unfortunately, I have a Dead Thoughtseize in my hand now. More than half their bid or last picks. Another plating? Alright. I mean, our blocks are fine, though. I think we actually get this. I was sitting there thinking we've lost because he's got like a million. He's just gonna jam. Block. See, like with this, without the Aether Vial, I just don't know. But like with Aether Vial, go ahead and say no, always yield. If you're playing with Vial on Moto, I recommend you learn how to do that because it is a very annoying card to play with otherwise. And now we just sit on Vault the Archangel, right? Like, the only way we lose this is he just spikes us with Burn off the top, right? I think we should just start gaining Oodles of Life. Utilizing this Vault, I think, is what I want to do. I mean, we could also just flashback Souls and have another Captain, but, like, we have another Captain, we're going to Vial in here anyway. Let's just gain life. I'm thinking, I think, like, a haste threat or, like, some sort of, you know, janky... Anyway, let's get in for gaining 8 life, because we're going to flash in the Captain. See, this is cool tech that you don't get to play in Bant Spirits. Sure, we have a Dead Thoughtseize, but look what's going on this board. So this is definitely a consolation prize for being in not Bant colors. Like, Vault is insane with things like Lingering Souls. Opponent's dead next turn. You need... Oh, I don't know. Anger the Gods wouldn't even work there. Cool. I like the changes. Let's run it back one more time, see if we can get a different type of matchup. Yeah, I know the Kataki's awkward with the Metallic Mimics. I know. But I also think that Stony Silence is worse for us, just due to the fact that Vial seems terribly important to the Esper build of this deck. Like, I just think we should maybe even consider mulliganing just to find Aether Vials. Like, we should maybe be looking always for a 6. Like, if the 7 doesn't have a Vial, we should probably look at a lot of 6s. And that's, you know, advice that I give, like, you know, Merfolk players, for example. Alright, this has Aether Vial, we keep it. Because it's just, without the Noble Hierarch, like, it's not, you know, nearly the same beast as, like, Bant Spirits. And although turn 1 Thoughtseize is really disruptive, I kind of like just making sure that my Aether Vial doesn't get taken by my opponent's Thoughtseize. And if we go basic Swamp to play this Vial, we can go Shock, Thoughtseize, depending on the matchup. Like, think dropping a Geist for another Spirit could be a consideration, same with the Aura. Oh, I love that Aura though, Treebeard. But yes, those are indeed considerations. Just because I like a card doesn't mean it's right for a deck. And that's the problem with streaming, right? Is there's going to be bias, right? I'm biased towards some of these cute cards like Steel the Godhead. Yeah, I'll admit it. I'm biased. Oh, I almost thought Cease there. I meant to Aether Vial. Even though I don't have like much juice for this Aether Vial, like maybe this still is a spot where I'm supposed to Thoughtseize because like I don't have much juice going on for this Vial just yet. Yep, wish I'd Thoughtseize now. Oh, well, he just played Star, so it's fine. Thoughtseize, excellent in this matchup. May get really, really lucky on what we take. We may not want to just fire off both Thoughtseizes either. Mimic. Playing out Mimic, although tempting, we need to strip like a Sylvan Scrying or something of the sort here, potentially. Like, here we could strip Map, and we could strip Ancient Stirrings. Basically, this is where we just try to get lucky. Because we're playing, you know, obviously what I would like to call a bad matchup. And, oh, Moto, please don't troll me there. It almost... Alright. That was almost really unfortunate. So next turn we get to Vial in... We get to, you know, put these into play. Mediocre beats. Alright, they find map anyway. That's not good. Do they have a second Tron piece? They don't have second land. We're in business. Obviously, you want to put Metallic Mimic into play first. Actually, Souls is the better play. Cool. But yeah, we're just getting ready for the new card coming out, it seems. That was the point of the brew that Bear with Two Guns submitted. This is actually a decent board for us, and then we're going to follow up with Captain Flashback Souls. If our Tron opponent doesn't find second land, we get there. Thank God. That seems like an awful matchup. And I really didn't include a lot for this matchup, as you can see. Nope. Did not. Selfless, absolutely. Counter Squall. Steel is cute, probably won't matter. We need pressure, so I would even run the Wanderers, some number of the Wanderers. Thoughtseize is really important. Brutality, not very good in the matchup. So like we just really don't have a lot of sideboard for Tron, it seems. So very, very lucky to get that first game. Maybe just cut a couple Wanderers though, even though we need pressure, I'm just not that excited about it. Maybe the Wanderers matter more though than Rattle Chains do. Just so we have 1-drop and a 2-drop. These don't seem that exciting to me. I don't even know if I want Steel. Maybe 3 Rattles. You knew they had no second land? Yeah, no second land was fantastic for us. Brutality to hit their hand if nothing else. I mean, there are some spells you can take out of a Tron hand, but it's Drain. I mean, I feel like I'd still rather have the 2-power creature, but we'll try it, Treebeard. This hand is probably a mulligan, right? No either Vial. Look at a 6 that might have a Vial. Has a Vial, let's go. Needs a white source, so bottom. White source for the Lingering Souls is what I mean. So we probably lose this second game. Already looks like that's going to be the case. But we were going to be on the play for the third game. So, hey, there's that white source I was asking for. Cool. I mean, Moreland could, like, let us rebuild. Like, if we actually deal a somewhat amount of pressure. Second Tron piece. Alright. We're pretty dead. It's very... I mean, like, I'd have to draw, like, Black Source and Thoughtseize. I think we just put Selfless Spirit into play here. Could just deploy second Vial, though. That's Tron for you. I would imagine this is a tough matchup. We're not playing Stony, we're not playing Damping Sphere, all of which are tools that we would need to theoretically beat a match like this. Or Storm, for that matter, you know? Karn. Exile my Odubana. O-Stone? Okay. Now, Selfless Spirit is nice against O-Stone. Let's not just put this into play, obviously. So we kind of have to bleed out our resources here, or bleed out his resources. The fact that he didn't slam win condition is really good news, because I couldn't have done anything if he slammed win condition there. Yeah, if opponent slammed win condition, I'm just screwed. I think maybe I don't even just play Souls. I think I sit on Queller, because there's a couple spells I could counter. Not many, but a couple. And I could protect the Queller from the stone with a flash, like with a Vial in Spirit. But we are most likely dead this game. Ugin. What do you got first, opponent? Nothing. So Queller doesn't have very many hits in this matchup anyway. Let me make sure that the extra colors aren't relevant. Don't think they are. This deck is actually pretty nice as far as colors go. I could just literally grab Swamp here. Not many duller. There's like little to no double cost colors. There's like a couple double white in the sideboard, things like Settle the Wreckage, but mana's actually really clean, so that's nice. I'm just putting this in for pressure. It's literally turn 3 before we applied any pressure to our Tron opponent. Are you just gonna pop the stone here? Really? Maybe he will. So, do we want to turn this into this? Not really. I mean, I'm pretty sure we're just very, very, very dead. And that's okay. Drew another vial. That's cool. We're going for one of those low percenters stream. Last game, opponent didn't have any lands. Maybe they have all lands, no threats. Highly unlikely. Show me Ugin, show me Karn. Show me Wormcoil. Let me draw Path. Let's not overextend. We're not going to flashback this Souls. We're going to sit on Activate Moorland Haunt next turn, exiling the Spellcaller, and Karn. Yep. Ooh, if we draw a Lord, we kill the Karn. Lord? Lord off the top. Unfortunately, we don't have the Supreme Phantom as a draw here. Metallic Mimic wouldn't work. It wouldn't do the thing that we want it to do. Another Lingering Souls. So probably what we have to do here is we play Selfless, and we flashback Souls, and just hope. Because we're not going to win now. I know this is exactly what I didn't want to do, some bit of overextension, but Karn goes up for loyalty, so we have to pressure. Thankfully it's all flying pressure. Oh, he's on the red variant. We have no hope. We have no hope. He's going to be playing Kozilek's Returns and whatnot. In fact, he has a Kozilek's Return in his hand if he's passing here. Wow, we're just boned. It's the red-green variant of Tron. Yep. A little bit of Kazis. That was attack the Karn Father. So if I don't put Mimic into play, we're just going to lose it to a Karn Plus. So like maybe this is still correct. Yeah, we have no hope here. Come on, he's the red version. That's like worst case scenario for our deck, I imagine, out of all the different types of Tron to play against. Another one. Thought not see her. Fire Spout, yep. That's cute. And we're dead. I mean, like, Geist of St. Traft right here off the top. Spellcaller, okay, end step Spellcaller. We figured this was over the moment we saw turn 3 Tron, though, from our opponent, right? Not sure why I'm playing on. Maybe out of frustration. Ah! I mean, we did have vials, though. Like, he answered our vials with something else that was a thing. Like, being able to flash these threats in would be much, much different. this point, I'm kind of just playing on to see what other cards. His opponent's got some interesting mana. He should be playing Grove of the Burn Willows. Then you don't want to play damaged lands if you're going to play Red Green Tron. You play land. You know, Grove is great. Groves of the Burn Willows is a great dual for dual land for. So he might just be a little budget. So I want to play on to see exactly how budget we are. I never see Fire Spout out of these decks. It's interesting. I like this though. I like this more. You can't play Anger the Gods very easily, for example. I like this quite a bit. Not a ton of flyers in Modern. Wormy. There goes the Queller. So we drop Path. We get to hit the Karn down to 2. So Path to Exile, please. Cool. Sometimes you just have to call it off the top, chat. You ask for things, and then your deck provides. Oh. Okay. I asked for it. I said, give me a path, please. Alright, so now we know there's no hope, right? Hell, like an Elspeth would have, no. Let's run it back. It seems like a very uphill battle for us. Plucky little Esper Spirits. Yama Killer. Thanks for hitting that button. Okay, let me refresh my Streamlabs. I did get the notification on my phone. Thank you so much for hitting that button. Welcome to the Brews by the Magic Guy show. Trying to make Esper Spirits work. Pushing it. I don't know why that didn't show up. I can go ahead and click and make a notification happen. Thanks for following Yama Killer. Science rules, I appreciate you. Appreciate you supporting the content here. I was not planning originally on doing a 4th of July stream. By the way, we only got another 45 minutes before I need to head out. So I think, like I said earlier in the stream, I think we really are just doing this one deck today. I'm trying to, work my way through the, I think the Disruption is more important than slamming Turn 1 Vial. There are a lot of spots where maybe that's not true, but sometimes you can snag a map that would otherwise complete Tron, if you get lucky. If you're lucky. Yeah, sometimes you can stop them from completing Tron. For example, this hand is a nothing. So here's what's interesting. Stirrings we could have countered with the Wanderer. If we just take Karn, they have no green source. Did he scry to the top? This is a 7. So he does have. Actually, it's not completed Tron. That's a tough decision. You know what? I'm gonna take Stirrings. Leave him with a Karn. Kick it back. Next turn, we probably go Wanderer. Alright, so Tower of Power. Just because the hand looks like nothing doesn't mean it is nothing. This is the extra Geist, by the way. This is the one that I added. That's why it's different art. That's a mine. Surprised your opponent kept the hand, says Yama. Me a little bit too, but we may still easily lose. Come on, another Thoughtseize. Deck is being kind. So is it correct for me to hope that he just doesn't have natural Tron and take the Karn? Or do we want to get the Geist going a turn sooner? This is an interesting decision point. So if we play Geist, we get an extra damage off the Wanderer. We're starting our Geist clock sooner. I did ask for a Thoughtseize, and I did again receive it. Alright, glory lies beyond the horizon, BrewSpy, so chase for it. Remember, there's always another horizon. Well, thanks, Drake. Appreciate that positivity. Do we just nab this Karn? There's one unknown. Do we nab the Karn? Or do we want to get our Geist going? He has one redraw and he has one mystery card. There's a reasonable chance that he does assemble Tron. Tron is indeed a well-oiled machine. I'm going to go ahead and concede to the well-oiled machine that it is and grab the card. Does mean I just didn't deploy 6 power though. I just declined to deploy 6 power. Foolish. But Karn doesn't answer Geist. Yeah, I probably should have ignored it. That was probably really bad. Geist, I reckon. I wish I'd listened to you, chat. Because you're right. Geist was absolutely correct. Sylvan Scrying. Oblivion Stone. Yep. Here's Tron next turn. Yeah, I definitely should have deployed Geist. Like, now we're just not killing him quickly enough. Alright, don't have Sweeper. At least now we don't lose Geist to... we won't lose Geist to Kozilek's Return. We will lose Geist, however, to specifically... I don't want him to know my last card is irrelevant. So we won't lose Geist to Kozilek's Return, but we will lose this Geist to... the guy was playing the other Sweeper that you could theoretically play in Tron. Besides Powerclasm, he's playing... I really can't think of it for some reason. Ugin. Ugin gets there too. Another Scrying. Maybe he's just got nothing. Sanctum. Okay, finally some good pressure. Honestly, maybe I should have left this on too. Because of Selfless Spirit. Being able to flash in Selfless Spirit is actually really nice. Thank you, Fire Spout. Appreciate you, Tommy Goif. Yeah, Fire Spout is interesting. That would definitely wreck us here. It wouldn't remove my whole board because he doesn't have enough colors. Karn. Did we just beat Tron? Is there any universe where naming Angel on Mimic could be better? Does it get a counter when Geist makes it? These are good questions. Ken says, have I played Jund on stream? We played Jund just the other day, Ken. I can show you a list. We played this. It was actually a combo Jund. What did I tell you, Drake? I believed in the heart of the cards, right? Alright, let's see. Let me pull it up for you. Jund Loam we played the other day. This was cool, but this wasn't combo. It's actually a variant of Seismic Assault. It is an infinite combo. Seismic Frogs. You're welcome to try to do something with this. I think playing fair decks in Modern is always a risk. So why play fair Jund when you could put an infinite combo in it? And this still has the goods. You know, there's Tarmogoyfs and Bloodbraids and Scavenging Oozes and Inquisitions, and like, it's still playing the goods. But no Lilies because we're playing triple red mana. And the infinite is Seismic Assault plus a Dakmor Salvage plus Gitrog Monster. Now, if I would rebrew this, I actually think I would maybe also consider including, instead of using birds to ramp us, I actually think if I was to rebrew this, let me try this again. Let's try this deck again for a moment, because I don't have enough time to play another game of Spirits. I have to leave very soon. So why don't we just talk about, I really liked this deck. Let's download it, let's try it again. I'm downloading my own deck. This was a BrewSpy one. This wasn't viewer submitted. The Seismic Frogs. This was one that I wanted us to do. We occasionally still do those. Still gonna go with the Liliana deck box, right? Oh, it's super fun, Ken, and not that bad either. Obviously, it's still a prototype. Well, I'm sure somebody else out there has tried it, but I actually think Heartless Summoning would be really cool in this archetype. You give up on, like, Lava Man, and you give up Birds, but I didn't think Birds was really what the deck wanted anyway. I think it should be a Heartless Summoning deck. So Summoning lets Gitrog be actually cast in a reasonable amount of time in Modern. It doesn't kill your Oozes or your Goyfs. It just makes them cheaper. I don't know if I'd play like 4 Heartless, but actually I think Heartless Jund with the Assault combo would be more feasible, because the problem is the mana cost on this guy. If he only costs 3, and then we could go into Tireless Tracker. Why not just use Infestation? But this kills them. The problem with Zombie Infestation, Rube, is that it costs a little bit too much for what you're getting. You cut the edge. That was just a way to sacrifice a salvage that's in play. It's probably unnecessary. Like, those are like some of the little changes I would have made. I think the Birds was cute. I think I'd rather have something like Summoning. I don't know if I'd play a playset of Summoning, but I think like more mid-rangey, like top-end Jund would be cool. And you could still play, you know, I think we wanted a 3rd Life from the Loam as well. Alright, person in the Modern Discord made a point. I think that's interesting. Why do you think Simic hit has been historically bad in Modern? I mean, like, there is like one infinite combo potential for Simic. We talked about it the other day. Just red is really good, black is really good in Modern. We'd have to run a few more lands too. So I think for every land that we add, we'll cut a summoning. So maybe just 2 summonings, because we don't want to cast more than 1 in a game. And then we could cut like maybe the Abrade shouldn't be main. So that would be 2 more lands, at least. And that's still only 19 land deck. For Jund, that's pretty low. Maybe 1 more Raging Ravine. Maybe... Oh, what happened to my basics in this list? That's what's wrong. Should be... Basic Mountain, 2 basic Forests, and a basic Swamp. Wonder why that didn't make it. It's weird. And you don't have to mainboard 2 Oozes, you know. You could do like, and maybe not double K-Command main either. You know, there's some things that you could do differently. If you wanted to. Hey, what's up, Puddin' Stars? At least 1 Swamp. We're not a Liliana variant, so... Yeah, maybe we should have thought about Heartless Summoning to actually make Gitrog and Bloodbraid, like, castable. And maybe 2 Forests. Although Double Forest has a high cost in this deck, especially since we're a Graven Cairns deck, which we probably shouldn't be. To be honest, I don't think Double Cairns is correct. I actually think we're supposed to be playing a split of Twilight and not... Or what's the green... Because we have things like Thrun and Ooze. We should be playing Firelit. I think we should be playing a split of Firelit and Graven. But then again, we have 3 salvages. So actually, no. The Graven is correct. Yeah, Drake, I could show you the blue-green deck we brewed the other day. I was asked to brew a blue-green deck that wasn't like Infect or whatever. I like these ones because they will match the Goyfs. We're playing the wrong Goyfs. So yeah, if you like Jund, this is a fun alternative, especially if you don't own Lilies. You don't have to play Goyfs either. You could just play Trackers and Bloodbraids and Gitrogs and just go more mid-range. I think the Heartless Jund idea is actually a really cool concept. And then we play one more land. Oh, I accidentally cut a Dakmor. Is everybody understanding how the combo works, the Gitrog Frog combo? If you aren't, just ask. I'm always happy to explain. Yeah, I think we wanted another Life from the Loam because we sometimes assembled this and never found Gitrog or never found a Dakmor. So yeah, it's just like combo Jund. Is this better than Jund? No, fundamentally this is exactly what you don't want to do with your Jund deck, right? Because what are you doing to the deck? You're adding variance, right? We're assembling these synergies, these combos. Although I will say that Seismic plus Dakmor on its own can beat humans or other types of like weenie decks in the format. Let me say that one more time. This plus this or this plus this will beat some of the decks that people are playing right now in the format on its own. And then instead of playing Confidant, you play Trackers and Fetches. So we maybe need a few more Fetches to make this happy. Like maybe that's too much Stomping Ground. Well, double Stomping Ground made sense to me though because we have the, well, one more Fetch. I think another Wooded Foothills. So I would play something like this, cut this cuteness, extra thought seizes out of the board, absolutely. Lava Man gets cut from this build because we are playing Heartless. That seems like a bad idea. Couple of Grudges, maybe you don't want the Abrade. Couple of Grudge, couple of Pyroclasm, couple of Anger, a Throne. Yeah, this looks fine. So we'll go ahead and update Gitrog Frog. Or this is Seismic Frogs version 1.1. Sometimes I go back and we update ideas that we've had. So yeah, Ken, this is like if I were to play a Jund deck, this is what I would play. I would play Jund that has some degenerate stuff going on. Like, Tracker plus Summoning is insane. Heartless Summoning plus even Bloodbraid Elf is insane. Now it's just red-green. Sure, it's not a 3-2 anymore, it's a 2-1, but, like, that's just a really good rate. Like, that's much, much more reasonable in Modern right now, expense-wise. No offense, I think Bloodbraid is still strong, even if you're playing normal Jund. But, I wouldn't want to play a fair deck right now. So technically this is not fair Jund, this is trying to be degenerate. And has some infinite combo potential. Or just grindy. Seismic is another really great tool right now in Modern. I think this is well worth the investment. Sure, we're giving up Lily Line of Planeswalkers. Maybe we still sideboard Lily Last Hope. I think another reason we didn't have a Lily Last Hope was budget. And like Huntmaster being a lot less mana is sweet. Sure, the wolves you're making off of the Heartless are a little bit weaker. Like even Thrun doesn't really care about being a little bit smaller. Like if he's just green mana, that's awesome. So maybe we play like a Lily Last Hope. And maybe that's a lot of sweepers. Maybe we just want one Pyroclasm. Something like that. Pyroclasm gets a lot worse for us now. Angers and Pyros get worse for us because our creatures are a little smaller on occasion. Blue-green could start to see better success. Maybe. We tried to make blue-green work a few different ways and times on the stream. Yeah, Goyf doesn't really mind being a little bit smaller, I don't think. I think that's a really minor thing. So what do you think of this deck, Ken? What do you think of this deck right here? Let's add this to the Stream Decker. I could also just update, but here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a full upload of new, because I really like the Frogs. I think a lot of players are maybe unaware of this combo. Which is unfortunate, because it's really, really cool. I hadn't thought about Heartless. Part of the reason the deck struggled was we were just having a hard time getting to Gitrog Frog status. You could do Merfolk. Good point, Treebeard. You could do a green splash for Merfolk. And then before we go, I will pull up the Painter deck. It's a blue-green Painter deck we were working on the other day. It is budget, so it's not competitive by any stretch of the imagination. But it was an interesting thought. Let's pull it up through here, because I can't quite remember the name of it. If you want to view the BrewSpy decks, there's a link to it, !deck. You can view all the decks that we've put into here. So yeah, an update on Seismic Frogs, that's good. People liked that list. I like that list as well. Let's see, Elf Ball, that's fun. Here you go, Painted Pack Budget. So this is a deck that's using blue for Phantasmal Image and green for Bellower. We added some spice, we added stuff like, you can like Summoner's Pact into Mystic Snake if you need to counter something and then you counter it. So the cool thing, alright, so Painted Pack, that's what we called it. Pact. I mean, there are other potentials I see for green, but yeah, Painted Pact was... We built this for Chase. So Painted Pact version 1.2. This is a cool concept. Is it good? No. And like Amulet Titan is a blue-green deck. Yeah. Amulet Titan technically is a blue-green deck as well that thrives and does very well in Modern. It just splashes other colors, though. It's a very colorful deck. I wouldn't... I mean, the fundamental pieces of that deck are technically blue and green. But anyway. I think that's a cool concept, fun to play, and I always like to slam a Goyf. Yeah, I don't think it's a good deck, KenCon, but it might be fun if you already have a lot of the pieces for it to just spice up your F&M with your Jund deck. I've tried to pitch it to one of my buddies that plays Jund. I've been like, Jay, you would love this. Just pick up a few Seismic Assaults, pick up a couple Gitrog Frogs, and you have a new deck. A new deck. He plays stock Jund. I think it would be really fun just to pepper that in every once in a while. You switch out like 10 cards and all of a sudden you have this infinite combo Jund. Or maybe more like 15 cards, but like you change like 15 cards and all of a sudden you have a Jund that has infinite combos. So were you here when we brewed this, Drake? This is a blue-green deck. Is it good? No. This costs 3 to activate as well. So is 3 to transmute, 3 to activate. So is this a good deck? No. I don't think so. Is it interesting? Yeah, this is a combo. It's not infinite, but it's powerful. Only 15 cards for an infinite combo. Infinite value. I know, right, Irish? Oh, we also thought about maybe sideboarding into Hive Mind. Maybe, yeah, we actually did play some matches with this. We didn't just brew it. We did play some games. So yeah, this is a cool concept. You know, you're ramping with Utopias and birds and thing with blue-green, they allow you to splash. Right, exactly. Because you're in green, that's a good point, Rube. Rube makes a really good point because green is a color that allows you to splash other colors more easily than other color combinations. Yeah, typically you see third or even fourth color when you're playing green in Modern. There's not a lot that punishes it outside of oh, we're not casting this here. We're using it for the combo with the Bellower. So the combo, and this gets better with the new M19 image, or the new M19 clone. So basically the combo is you have Painter naming, you name green on Painter Servant. Bellower says, when this enters the battlefield, search your library for a non-legendary green creature with CMC 3 or less, put it on the battlefield, then shuffle. So what's cool about this combo is you're naming green here. Bellower goes into the deck with its triggered ability. We go get another image, and that image copies Bellower. Then we get another Bellower trigger, we go back into the deck, gets the second image, and then we get another Bellower. That Bellower triggers, we go get the third image, and then that Bellower trigger happens again, we get another image, and then the last Bellower trigger in this deck gets Hellraiser Goblin, because it does need to be CMC 3 or less. This gives all of those Bellowers haste, and then we kill them. Yeah. I mean, I've seen like some like Gerard Fabiano, you know, colored decks. Let's at least touch on what's next in the donation. Or, I almost said DQ. I meant to say the deck intel. We're gonna go ahead and read this out. I think Bear will be pleased with what we've done with the list. I hope so. Yehovah Joe's list is next. Did I take a look at Yehovah Joe's? Oh yeah. This was the This was the taking turns. I think I wouldn't mainboard Giga Drows. At least this many copies. Yeah, Yehovah Joe's list we're gonna need to tweak a little bit. Also needs a sideboard. I don't know if I see a huge benefit of going black instead. A lot of these taking turns decks just go into white for things like Terminus. Snapback's sweet, by the way, to bring back the Snapcaster Mage. That's kind of cool. I do like that tech. It's a modern legal card. Yeah, remove a blue card from your hand rather than pay the mana cost of Snapback. Return a creature to its owner's hand. This is a cool card. Doesn't see any modern play, though, unfortunately. Exhaustions, Part the Water Veils, Masteries. I feel like I'd play the playset of Mastery, just for the added potential of getting lucky and getting a miracle. Anyways, guys, I'm going to host another channel. We're going to end it early today so that I can make my holiday plans happen, but thank you so much for tuning in for this short. I'm not going to call it a bonus stream because we didn't hit another mile marker, but it was a bonus stream of sorts. I wasn't originally going to brew and play and stream today. I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow when the Legacy Banned and Restricted has changed. While I find us another stream to host, I'm going to pull up what I plan tomorrow. I also plan to play 2, maybe even 3 viewer-submitted Legacy lists. We're going to play some Tin Fins. Some Tin Fins tomorrow. Yeah, absolutely, Roop. I wasn't going to stream today because it's a holiday, but went ahead and did it anyway. This is what Tin Fins looks like potentially after the Deathrite Shaman ban, but also we lose Probe. I might still play Gravestone, even though it's not as necessary. We might see an uptick of things like Scavenging Ooze and whatnot in Legacy. That'd be cool. Be cool to return to some of the roots. But yeah, it looks kind of like this. So no Probe changes the deck a lot. I'm running some of the older cantrips like the 3rd and 4th Ponders and the 1st Limdul's Vault. That's just a concession to the fact that it's not an easy combo to piece together. I also added a 15th land since we cut Probes. So hopefully the deck is going to flow a little bit better. I'm back on the Silence tech. I like this tech. This is really nice. It's a fine one-of. It's not something I would play more than one of, personally. But I like it, and while we're comboing, if we get stuck with Children in our hand, but we find a Mox, we can pitch the Silence to the Mox, and then we can cast Children. Limdul's Vault is also really nice when you're playing Chrome Mox. It gives us essentially, you know, Chrome Mox, the Underground Sea edition. But anyways, dudes. And the deck will still sideboard into a Reasonable Mentor deck. Just because it doesn't just because we don't have Probe doesn't mean these aren't going to be sweet. This still has strong synergy for Cabal Therapy, still has strong synergy for these Petals and Moxen and Rituals. So we'll probably play this tomorrow, so I need to grab the cards for it before next stream. Anyways, dudes, thanks for coming. Let me host a different channel. Don't go away. I want to send all 30-some of you to another Magic stream. Let's see, Caleb Shearer. Frank Lepore is playing something interesting. Oh, Stryfro's League. Oh, man. I'm going to host Stryfro. He's got a sweet deck going on. See you guys on the next Brew Spy show. Appreciate you coming.